Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the Power Man podcast. I'm doing fantastic. I am so happy to be here. I'm not even sure I can put it into words, which could be problematic since it's a podcast. But I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna power through. All right. As we get going here, before we do anything else, I've got to point out the elephant in the room here. I'm wearing a yet another kick-ass shirt, and if you're on our video feed right now, if you're on YouTube or on Rumble, and you can see the video feed, then you'll be able to see it. If not, if you're listening to it on the podcast, I'll just describe it for you. It's black with a shield and a coat of arms on it. It is seriously cool, and it is the newest addition from Fit for Violence. That's right, Matt Sargent over at Fit for Violence. This is his new design. I'm going to show it to you one more time. There we go. I mean, I'm talking. I got this, and then I saw it and I ordered it immediately, and then I got it in the mail, and I was like, boom, threw it on, worn it like 4 times. I was just kind of waiting for this podcast to put it on because this is what we do at Power Man. Okay, Matt is one of our brothers, and that's how I consider him. And he's been on the podcast. I've interviewed him. He's got a really cool business in Fit for Violence going on, where he's training men to be fit for violence so that they don't have to encounter it. Which is just fantastic. If you haven't checked him out, or if you see the shirt and you're like, man, I gotta have one of those, go to his account on Instagram. It's at Fit for Violence, and it's FIT, the number 4, and then violence. And I'm telling you right now, check it out. He's got a bunch of stuff that is just cool as hell on his Instagram feed. Anyway, but this shirt, yeah, pretty cool. So, Matt, thank you, man. And this is what we do. We support our brothers. We support our fellow man. Okay, I mean that's what we do in the Brotherhood at the Power Man Within. If you're looking for a brotherhood like that where we support each other, no questions asked, it's what we do. Check us out, Power Man Within, in Facebook groups. The link is always in the show notes. Okay, 4 quick questions apply. Boom, done. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably the kind of guy that we want to have in there. Now, I'm going to have to go ahead and take a sip of my preferred beverage. And if you're on our YouTube or on our video or on our Rumble, you can see that I'm using my Captain America coffee cup today. I just thought it went pretty well. Captain America uses a shield because he is prepared for violence. He doesn't want to be the one who causes it, but when it comes, he's ready. And I just thought that was kind of fitting for the shirt that I'm wearing. Also, my son got me this. So if you are lucky enough out there in the world to not only have a son, but to have a son who gets you a Captain America coffee mug, consider yourself among the very blessed. Oh, good stuff. And inside that cup, if you're a friend of the program, that's right. It's Freedom Hill Coffee at Freedom Hill Coffee on Instagram. They are a fantastic company. They do all the right things for all the right reasons. They support veterans. So do I. And that's why I support them. That's why I talk about them on my show. All right. This cup of coffee is absolutely fantastic. It smells beautiful and aromatic, deep, dark, rich, bold, beautiful, just like my wife. Another reason why I like it. Oh, I'll be sipping that throughout the show. So please bear with me. We can go ahead and move on a little bit here. This show is airing on Easter in 2023. And, there's a million things that you can say about the holidays that your shows air on. When it's Thanksgiving, it's, what are you thankful for? When we get to Christmas, it's about the spirit of giving, right? And it's, what are you grateful for? And, it's about giving, not receiving, and so on. On New Year's Day, right? It's, hey, it's brand new year. What kind of changes you going to make? On Valentine's Day, it's, who do you love? And how much are you willing to spend to prove it? On St. Patrick's Day, it's, I'm Italian. Leave me the hell alone. And then we get to Easter. So anyway, we'll stop there, but it is Easter time. Easter, as you guys all know, is a celebration of the day that the Lord rose from the dead. This is a big, big holiday for folks who are Christians, and who follow that sort of, teachings and knowledge. I have no problem. Okay, this is like the happy holidays thing. I have no problem if you're an atheist and you don't want to believe in it and you don't want to celebrate Easter and so on and so forth. Hey, you do you. Not an issue in the world. But just like Christmas, I have a problem if you're an atheist and you're out there, buying eggs and, enjoying yourself and running around celebrating the holiday, because the holiday is a holiday because it's based on, you know, the Son of God. Okay. So listen, if you're going to be an atheist, be a good one. All right. And just don't celebrate it. No problem. But don't celebrate it and then cry to me that, don't say happy Easter to me. It's actually happened to me a couple days ago. I wasn't going to see somebody for the whole weekend. I was like, hey, have a happy Easter. Hey, man, don't say that to me. All right. I'm an atheist. I said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's your problem. But okay, have a great weekend. And he goes, yeah. And then I heard him talking about doing something with Easter. And I was like, wait a minute. So I'm off my soapbox, but it's Easter. And here we are. So I wanted to do this today, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about what Easter means for me, especially this year. All right. I'm not going to get into the biblical ramifications of it. Either you know or you don't what, Easter is all about. But you guys all know I believe in God. And so I am celebrating Easter and as a holiday. What does it mean to me? I'm going to put this out there because I want to share it with you. I'm going to put it out there because I hope that you will join me in feeling the same way about it. And hopefully good things will come from this. But as I was sitting there thinking about, what do you talk about on Easter? What tie-in is there between the power of man becoming a better father, a better husband, right? Showing up, being there for your family, showing up, being there for your wife, kids, finding that power deep inside you that you've always had, that you're born with. Where's the correlation? Where's the tie-in, right? Well, Easter is the day that he rose. Easter to me, point blank, is about new beginnings. It's about new possibilities. And I'll bet you can feel it. As I sit here talking about this, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about all of the new opportunities, all of the huge possibilities that are opening up in front of me right now, for me and for the people that I love, for my brothers. I, there is so much right now that is just right there for the taking if you just decide to do it. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about the new beginnings. And there are a lot of different ways that you can look at that, right? But I want you personally, I want you to take a little bit of a deep dive here. I want you to look in that mirror. I want you to ask yourself, where do I need a new beginning? What's in front of me that if I just reach out, I can grasp, I can take hold of? What's sitting out there right now that could literally change my life if I just made the decision to pursue it, to do it, to go for it? I mean, you hear this all the time, right? I mean, about taking positive action and, about doing everything you hear it. I'm so excited I can barely finish the sentence right now. You hear it everywhere. Take messy action. Start whatever you do. Just get started. Do something. Move forward. Keep moving forward. We all use these catchphrases every day. And as I sit here on Easter, I look at this and I mean, business wise, I'm sure there's something you could be doing that you want to do, that you're ready to do. Whether it's a new job, whether it's the same job, but doing it a whole heck of a lot better. Maybe it's going for a promotion that you didn't think you could go for before. Maybe maybe it's a side hustle that you want to start, and for some reason you've been talking yourself out of it. Maybe it's a podcast, a YouTube channel. Folks, there's so much out there. If you want more, if you want better, if you want different, if you want new, it's right there for you. And so I'm going to give you real quick, the three areas that I personally am planning on looking for that new beginning. The first is my health. I'm not going to play around. I lost a whole bunch of weight last year, kept most of it off, but I did put some back on. And, it's still creeping around, and I was nowhere near my goal either. So as part of my new beginning, I'm refocusing. And I mean, I'm refocusing everything I got. And I had a conversation with some friends recently, some good friends. I've got a couple of them, believe it or not. And one of them is working on, kind of a course, a program, a plan. I'm not going to out him yet, but he did promise to launch it on this program. So you'll know. And I'm not going to tell you about his program either, because that's for him to do. But some of the core principles were things that we were discussing. And I came on the realization that, even with my success in losing weight last year, I still was kind of about 80-20 in terms of being committed. I mean, I was, awful before that. So, if 80% of the time you were better than you used to be, you're going to lose weight. But towards the end of it, I kind of plateaued and, lost a grip on a few things. And part of that was because 20% of the time I was, allowing myself to, have an extra bagel. You're doing great. You're losing all this weight. One bagel's not going to kill you. Oh, hey, you know what? Just go ahead and have a cheat meal. You're fine. Everything's been going real good. No problem. And that 20% of the time really didn't matter at the beginning, because the 80% of the time was so much better than I had been that I was still seeing results. But that 20% caught up to me. It caught up to me and it wrapped itself around my neck and it basically pulled me under. And I did that to myself. With any change, but especially when it comes to losing weight, physical change, things like that. And I wrote this in my book, my latest book anyway, and that's the 5% diet, which is available on Amazon. Okay, 5, the percent sign, diet, and you can look it up by my name, Rory, Rory Paquette, Paquette. It's on Amazon. Might want to pick that up if you're thinking about losing weight. It's a great book. It served me well. Documents my journey very, very well. But I mentioned in that book, your brain is coded. Okay, your brain is programmed for survival. So your brain doesn't understand the indirect concept of I'm restricting my calories, which means I'm going to lose weight. which will be better for me because at a lower weight, my joints won't hurt as bad. I'll be able to move more. I'll be more functional. No, your brain doesn't read that. What your brain reads is my human is not consuming the calories he has in the past. I'm reading scarcity. Starvation is imminent. I better send a signal to his brain to say, hey, I'm hungry. Your brain doesn't have any idea what's going on other than scarcity, survival. And so it sends you cravings, it sends you hunger pains, it sends you all of those things that cause you to jump out of your diet and go back to that 20% instead of sitting on that 80% of commitment. And, my friend told me as he was working on things out, he said, it's ego. And it's the ego taking over. And he said very plainly, you have to decide who's in charge. And, that really hit me because when it comes to new beginnings, I mean, that's kind of the crux of all of it. Who is in charge? Are you actually in charge of yourself? Or are you subject to your subconscious, your cravings, your desires? Or are you mentally, emotionally, physically in charge? We're going to come back to that because, it impacts everything. But the first thing is, hey, physically, new beginning. And I started a few days ago and I got back on it and I got back on it hard. I'm not approaching it this time with 80% of me being committed and 20% of me being, I'll do it if I can. I'm 100% committed and I know who's in charge. When I decided this, I told this to my friend. I said, there's a new sheriff in town and he's not taking any prisoners and he's not honoring old deals. And that's big. That's big when you can say that. And you need to say that as you go into the second part of the new beginning, which, hey, if it's going to be physical, then of course the other part's going to be mental / emotional, right? And I put those two things together only because for me, it involves a lot of similar work. For me, my biggest issue is recognizing that my job has changed with my sons. And, I've talked about this before. You guys all know, I've got a very strong relationship with my boys. One of them is out selling door to door right now and killing it, just killing it. I think he made more than I did this week. And the other one is getting ready to go do the same thing. He's taking a little time with his girlfriend and to get himself ready, and then he's off to the wild blue yonder to do the same thing. And I have had to come to grips with my changing role. And so new beginnings for me is no more looking back, no more feeling bad, no more going, oh, I wish they were still, at home. I wish they were still in sports. I wish they were still. You know what? They're not. You know what they are still? They are still your sons. That's what I have to keep telling myself. And so my job now, as I move into new beginnings, and as I decide, hey, who's in charge here? The new sheriff has to say, hey, Rory, Listen, you're there as a life coach now, man. You're there as an advisor. You're there as a consultant, but they're in charge of their lives, not you. And as tough as that is, that's a big thing that I'm looking forward to. That's a big thing that I'm looking forward to dealing with. And that is part two of my new beginnings, letting go. In part three for me is money and business. Now, this can mean a lot of things to a lot of folks. I think everybody should have, a new beginning on three different levels. I think one should be physical, because if you're not starting something new, if you're not, really pushing yourself physically, all you're doing is waiting to die. That's right. I said it. I said what I said. And I think part of it needs to be mental or emotional. Look, if you're not pushing your boundaries mentally, if you're not pushing your boundaries emotionally, if you're not, looking at what's in front of you that's causing you strife, that's causing you sadness, look, it's going to keep coming up. You got to work on the inside and on the outside. So I recommend you picking something from those two categories. And you know what? The third one, look, I've said this before. Maybe you love your job. Maybe you don't want a side hustle. You know what? New beginning. Find one way to be better at your job. Do it better. Problem solved. New beginning accomplished. If you're like me, you're looking for that new path, looking for that new thing. And we are all in on the Power Man podcast. It has been a long time in coming. And for me, the cuffs are finally off. And it's when we broke 100 episodes, when we cracked, into 30 different countries, when we finally broke some barriers, I knew it was time. So you're going to be seeing a lot more with the podcast. You're going to be seeing different things improving. We're going to be trying different things. You're going to see, much more of a social media presence. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait. A little bit excited about that new beginning. Just a little bit. A little bit. Good stuff. That coffee right there. So that's new beginning number 3 for me. And I recommend highly that you guys, when you're sitting there and the Easter egg hunt's over, and you're done piling ham on top of cheesy potatoes, and having leftovers on rye bread with mustard. I mean, look, I know I know how great Easter can be in a lot of different ways. When you're done with all the fun stuff, when you're done with the rigmarole and the holiday part of it, when the kids are all in sugar comas, and they're done watching Hop for the 82nd time, I hope you get a chance to really think about the holiday, to really think about what's behind it, and to say, you know what? I need a new beginning too. Because it's right there for you. It's right there for the taking. You can do whatever it is you want to do, as long as you decide that you want to do it and you put yourself back in charge of you. You need to let yourself know, hey, weakness. Hey, cravings. There's a new sheriff in town. And he's not playing games. Not anymore. I hope that every one of you has a fabulous Easter holiday and a wonderful beginning to your week. I will talk to you again on Wednesday. Oh, yeah. We're going to be there. Go check out at Fit for Violence if you get a second. Bust out one of those awesome shirts. He's got a lot of other cool shirts too, so check them out. And folks, appreciate your families. Spend time with your kids. Work on yourselves. Go for the trifecta. I wish you all the greatest happiness because you are worth it. And you just need to believe it. Until next time.